Well, Election Day is only 2 weeks away.
Wow.
And today, Vice President Kamala Harris is taking a day off the campaign trail, while former President Donald Trump is going to court the Latino voters down in South Florida and then head back to North Carolina.
And brand new poll numbers show Trump making major gains with Latino and black voters.
Aishah Hasnie is so lucky because this morning she is in Doral, Florida, where Mr. Trump will participate in a Latino voter roundtable in just a couple of hours, and she joins us live. Aishah?
Hey, good morning to you. Yeah, that event's going to happen right behind me. And, you know, this event is curated for the Latino community, the Hispanic community, but it really could resonate with any American out there that is trying to achieve the American dream. The former president is going to sit down with Hispanic community leaders in the Miami area and discuss his policies about the economy. And this is going to be talking about how they can buy a house, keep their neighborhood safe, find good paying jobs, an opportunity really for generational change here. And he's making a concerted effort, guys, to reach out to these Hispanic voters, and it's resonating. Take a look at this new Suffolk poll. It shows that he's leading Harris amongst Latino voters in a head-to-head here. He's trailing, though, behind Harris among black voters. But again, put this in perspective to back in 2020 when he got 8% of the black vote to President Biden's 91%. So he's actually faring off a lot better this year. And then, of course, he went to that Pennsylvania McDonald's over the weekend and worked the fryer. And it was a troll of Vice President Harris attempting to connect with the working class by saying that she used to work at McDonald's. His visit has gone viral now, with a lot of folks saying that, you know, they really connected with him watching him do that. Guys?
Aishah, I got a question for you. Because Donald Trump's event at the McDonald's over the weekend got so much publicity, and, you know, it even drove a number of people on the political left crazy because they said it was a staged event. Of course it was a staged event. It was a campaign event. Because it worked so well for him, is he planning more of that kind of stuff?
Here's the thing, guys. It was closed. Can I just go back really quickly? You said it was, yeah, people were freaking out because it was a staged event. It was closed, and you have to close and shut down a building because this is the former president who, by the way, has had 2 assassination attempts. You can't just have the doors wide open and security not involved, and, you know, obviously vetting people who are coming through the drive-thru. You got to keep it a safe situation for him. So that's a part of it that doesn't get talked about either.
Right, Aishah, do we put you in the median of a highway?
I know. I'm very nervous.
Is incredible. I don't know if it's noisy or...
It's a little loud out here.
Yeah.
Lots of motorcycles.
Are you saving on parking? Is that it?
Are you sponsored by Focus Factor? Because it was amazing how you would.
I'm going to go get on a moped now.
I know. It seems like.
Aishah, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, fantastic.
We'll see.
Are you kidding?
What? Listen to that.
Another one.
Get your motor running. The reason I mentioned the
Incredible.
McDonald's event is Piers Morgan has got an item in the New York Post today, and it says Don's special sauce. He said libs lose minds over Trump's McDonald's visit. Piers says because of the stunt, he may actually win the election.
Well, I wish he'd go. Well, he actually did go to that grocery store, remember, and he gave the mom $100. I think it'd be good if he went around the country to different grocery stores and did like moms in the markets.
Well, because
give them $100, but interviewing them,
couple of
say,
people.
how much did you spend? Because the guy, his energy bill went from $2,100 to $15,000 a month.
Well, I think what they're upset about is not that it's a political stunt, because all politicians do political stunts like this. It's that he's better at it than her. And every time you see her at a grocery store or something, I thought it was so weird when they did the whole Dorito thing. It just wasn't natural for her. But for him, first of all, you can't outshow a showman. This is what he's been doing his entire life. And I think they are supposed to be the relatable ones, and the billionaire is outshowing them.
Right. And to that point, Lawrence, there's something that Kamala Harris has been talking about over the last couple of days just to show how effective that event in Pennsylvania was. You know, she says, and this proves that Donald Trump won the day yesterday politically. She says there are things that Donald Trump says, that will be the subject of skits and laughter and jokes. But words have meaning. These are things that are at stake. And each time Kamala Harris reminds voters of the stakes, it's a sign that a certain thing that he's doing is is appealing to a certain part of the electorate. It's a really small part of the electorate that is still undecided, but they think it's funny. And they think it's like, oh, look, he made fries.
Well,
and it's like he's approachable.
Like
he's
not touching the human hand. He's putting the fries in there.
Right, Jon Stewart had fun with that
what food do you like? I like it all.
Yeah, and he was on our show on Friday, and we asked if he was going to wear the paper hat. He did not.
He did not.
But
Didn't want to mess up the hair.
He did say he was going to go heavy on the salt.
And he did.
You know what? And it's just relatable because we all go to McDonald's.
Very relatable.
We know that he loves, and we like the fact that most presidents would have these, trays, silver service pieces, and he's like, bring on the McDonald's. It's just relatable. He goes to North Carolina to talk to the victims of Helene.
It's a big, important story. It hasn't been covered much in media. It's almost like these folks have been forgotten. We were there on the ground covering what was happening. There was an emotional moment, though, with the former president, and here's a little bit of that.
I had in the back of my mind, I even made a comment to somebody. Trump would just show up. Trump would just show up. We need it. We need that shot of hope in the arm. We need that, we need to know we're going to be okay and not forgotten.
You won't be.
Thank you.
And I believe that you can serve as a great inspiration to this community right now. And the reason being is, I think God's given you an indomitable spirit. Do you mind if I pray for you?
Yes, please.
I ask that you would anoint President Donald Trump and give him a spirit of wisdom and understanding and insight as he moves to lead this nation back to greatness.
I'm with you, and the American people are with you all the way. We're going to continue to be with you. I will support and totally complete the rebuilding of every region and town and city that was devastated by the hurricane, and I will slash through every bureaucratic barrier that you're having already and having problems with. We're praying for you, and we will not forget about you. We will never forget about you. We're going to be working with you for a long time to come to get it back together.
So I think it's important. Remember, he showed up day one with Samaritan's Purse, with Franklin Graham. He said, listen, this is what they need. This is as far as I can go. So he beat the current administration there by 4 or 5 days. And then he went back, and he's going back tonight at 7 o'clock. So he's going to be going to North Carolina today. Yeah, it's a battleground state, absolutely. But number two is you could always just sit there and stay in Charlotte and say, I feel bad for those people in the mountains. He goes to the mountains.
But did you see the question that was posed to him? One of the reporters said, do you feel like this is going to impact the election with everything that's happening? He goes, I'm not worried about that.
Aishah Hasnie.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not worried about voting. But his campaign is, and they want to make sure that these people have provisional ballots or some type of easier access. You were there. It's going to be impossible to get down those roads, right? You're not thinking about voting.
Some of the folks still don't even have power.
Right.
Well, he said this. He says it's vital that we not let this hurricane that has taken so much also take your voice. You must get out and vote. And he says if you're displaced, you can get a ballot to your temporary location.
Right. In the latest NBC poll, it is an absolute tie. She has 48%. He has 48%. But the key is 4% undecided or will not vote. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to persuade the person who's less likely to vote, and the undecideds, hey, I'll be better than her.
Yesterday's Washington Post poll, 4-point edge for Trump in North Carolina with registered, 3-point edge with likely. So that came out yesterday.
Huge.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.